welcome to the channel, and this is a very special speed build today. It is part of a giant world build collab with my friends Harry, Devin Bumpkin, Freezer Bunny, Simlissy, Pineapple, Gavin Sims, and of course me. But basically the collab, we wanted to do a giant world collab of Brindleton Baes, and we each are doing a lot. Some of them are collabs, but basically we'll be posting every day until the 26th. And it actually started out with just Harry and Gavin Sims or TJ and I, but we thought it'd be a lot more fun to include our other Simmer friends since it's really a large project, and we felt like it would include more build styles and ideas if we invited them to. Everyone is so amazing though, so you know it's going to be a good one, and definitely check out their channels, which are linked down below. I'm actually going to be gone this week, so this is pre-recorded, and my videos are going to be pre-recorded for Thanksgiving because I'm going to be visiting my family in Florida, which is fun. But yeah, so this build is on the island, the dead grass isle where the lighthouse is. I basically thought it'd be an excellent idea to convert the museum that was there into kind of like a bed and breakfast. Bed and breakfast, if you don't know what that is, or B&Bs, are basically a small lodging alternative to a traditional hotel, which you can stay at for a few nights, and then breakfast is offered in the morning. Typically, the B&B is family owned and the owners live on the property. In this case, I really enjoyed the story given for the original build on this lot, which was a museum, which I said before. But basically it says, after almost 2 centuries as the lighthouse keeper's private home, this property was converted into a museum, chronicling the bay's interesting maritime history when a new automated system was installed in the Brindleton Light, which I absolutely loved, and that, you know, it kind of had a history to it, right? So I thought it would be better though to use as a restaurant lot or a quote bed and breakfast, like maybe the descendants of this lighthouse keeper and sailor kind of upkeep the home, and there's all kinds of paintings and historical pieces displayed throughout the bed and breakfast, so it's still kind of a museum in a touristy way, but I figured this would be kind of a better use of the lot, and more realistic too, since you pretty much go to the island to visit the lighthouse. So yeah, that's kind of what my idea was for this lot. Typically B&Bs have between 4 and 11 rooms, with 6 being the average, so I did 6 rooms total in this build. So I did 4 rooms. They have double beds in them on the second level, and then a honeymoon suite, as well as the host rooms. I imagine that they're sisters, maybe granddaughters of the original owner, which are on the 3rd floor. So the whole idea of a bed and breakfast is pretty old, and they're all over the world, but in the US, B&Bs date back to colonial times. There weren't many hotels or inns in the 18th century, so many travelers relied on the kindness of others to have a place to sleep for the night. Hotels didn't really become more common or popular until the railroad and later cars were more prominently established. And during the 30s, tourist homes gave an economic boost to both the owners and the guests. But during the 50s and 60s, motels kind of took the place of these boarding houses and were more popular. Through the 80s and 90s, B&Bs, the number of them shot up really quickly, and they were kind of everywhere, and they evolved from regular homes with shared bathrooms to renovated historical homes and mansions with even more amenities, and kind of like their own suites and their own private rooms and all that. And by mid-90s, with the rise of the internet, it made reservations of these B&Bs more like hotels, and they were a lot easier for the owners to get the word out, even offering wedding services. So that's really cool. That's a little bit of the history of bed and breakfast and kind of the reasons why I did certain things in this build. But I actually got inspiration from a few different northeastern bed and breakfast, as well as homes in the Northeast, like Maine and the Hamptons and New Hampshire, places like that. So, just to fit in with the whole coastal theme, and it is on an island. So this year in the front is like the check-in lobby area, I guess you could say. So since it is technically a restaurant lot, and I typically do this for all of my kind of hotel builds where I make it into a restaurant, because you can use these, they're host stations for the restaurant, but they look kind of like, check-in counters for when you check into a hotel or something like that. So I typically always have my hotels as restaurants because of that, because it makes it look a little more realistic, and it's probably the best option for a hotel type of build. I kind of struggled with what to put on the signs. I really wanted to use the new sign that has the ship the steering wheel on the smaller sign, but it just didn't fit. So I just used 2 different ones, but I kind of liked the idea of having the ship steering wheel as kind of like the logo for it, since I was thinking that the owner was not only, the lighthouse keeper, but he also was a sailor at some point in his life. And yeah, so it just made sense to me. And I really, really enjoyed making this build. I haven't made a bed and breakfast before, so it was definitely something different and super fun to kind of imagine the history and the story about this build. And thank goodness for the roof update, right guys? I was able to do a lot of things I wouldn't have ordinarily done that made this build really special and unique, I think. Starting with the giant roof bit here in the front that has kind of 2 balconies and arching pieces of the roof. I think that made it really unique and different to anything that I've ever made before. So really, really happy with how the roof turned out, even though it took me like forever to figure it out. But I was really happy with it though in the end. So as part of it being kind of a museum, I really wanted to use some of the items that were in the museum in the first place. Like the model of the island, I thought would be a really nice thing to include, especially in the front of where you would check in. Kind of like a map almost of the island where you can see where everything is. And I also included a lot of the historical paintings that were in the original museum as well. And I also wanted to be a little bit pet friendly, in case you were here on holiday or on vacation with your pets. And so there's a few pet amenities, make sure it's pet friendly. So basically the first floor of the bed and breakfast is the kind of dining or breakfast area. And there's also some seating areas by the fireplace. So in case you're just, there for some coffee, or you don't really want to sit at a table, you can sit there and relax. Here are the paintings that I included. I thought this was a nice place for them, since you see them right when you walk down the stairs. And I included a ship one, the captain or the lighthouse keeper himself, and of course a painting of the lighthouse maybe in its prime. So there was a lot of storytelling, I guess, that went into this, just so I had a better idea and a better direction of what to do while I was kind of furnishing it. And so yeah, I really liked this fireplace a lot, especially when I first saw it. I was like, yes, I need to use this like everywhere. Such a nice fireplace. It's very grand, but in a subtle way, I was also pretty happy with the size down cheat that was added in the patch, because I could do things like this, where you can size down that humongous statue. And I kind of made a new statue in a way by combining the big founder statue with the ship steering wheel. And I don't know the technical term for that, but yeah, I kind of thought maybe it was a little statue of the owner that they placed like on the fireplace, just something kind of nice and subtle. And this area seemed a little bit empty or uninteresting to me, and I thought to use the armoires. I think they're technically storage, but it has like little plates, and if you put them together, it makes this really nice like one giant furniture piece. And I thought that would be kind of nice for the people who were, you know, checking people in, you know, to store towels or extra things that people might need. And yeah, I thought it looked really nice there and made it a little more interesting. And of course, we have to have the promotional brochures in the front, because a lot of touristy either hotels or B&Bs or just like touristy locations in general, they'll have a bunch of brochures in the front where you can kind of see what else is to do in the area if you're interested. Like, I know when I stayed at the Smokies recently, there was a ton of brochures in the lobby where basically you said, hey, you can, you know, go to this restaurant, or you can go to this activity or whatever. So that's kind of what I was thinking for that, as well as, you know, just like promotional magazines of maybe Brindleton Baes. I put those on the table, on the coffee table, like in the lounge area. And this here is basically just like a breakfast bar. Maybe you don't want to have a full breakfast from the kitchen and you just kind of want to grab a bagel and some coffee or whatever and be on your way, then that's a good option too. So the bedrooms upstairs, they are all the same, except there's different quilts. Like I used different swatches for the beds, as well as the armoires that are in there and the nightstands. But basically everything about the beds or the bedrooms are the same, really. And also there's like a painting. I kind of thought of them as historical paintings of the island and stuff above the beds. And each bedroom has a different swatch of those paintings as well, which I'm in love with them. They're so good. And they're just, they're so pretty. And then all the bathrooms are the same as well down here. There's, I used the new vanity sink, and I thought it looked really nice with the vampire kind of old-fashioned, you know, bathtub and shower. And I couldn't really find a mirror that looked good above the vanity. So what I did was actually use the Move Objects sheet, and I kind of like merged it with the vanity sink. I thought it looked kind of cool. And I wanted to fit in this kind of utility cabinet, you know, with extra towels and toilet paper, but I thought it would be better out here, kind of on the second floor shared area, you know, in case you run out of toilet paper or towel, you can go there and grab one. Here's that mirror. It's a standing mirror, and I just kind of merged it behind there. I thought it looked really nice. We need new mirrors, guys. Like, we need more mirrors. But yeah, so I just kind of put in some towels and some things that would normally be in a bathroom. I actually really like that tile in the bathroom. I don't normally use it for anything because it's kind of busy, but I thought it looked a little old-fashioned, and maybe it's the original tile that was used in the house, and it looked really nice with like the navy vanity and bathtub, I thought. So yeah, so this area on the second floor, it's kind of like a shared lounge room or sunroom, but I really wanted to use these high back love seats that we got with the new pack, because they're my absolute favorite and they're so gorgeous. And I thought this would be a nice area to put them in, since it's a little more informal than the one downstairs, I guess. But here in, you know, on the second floor, if you want to get your coffee and you want to be like in a more private area, or quiet area, you can come up here and kind of go into this lounge room and maybe read a book or, like I said, drink your coffee or tea or whatever. So I ended up closing off the room because I felt like it was a little too open and kind of awkward if I didn't close it off. And I was able to use some nice French doors instead. And I'm changing the paneling on the first floor to be horizontal because I feel like that looked really nice up here in the second floor. So yeah, I went downstairs and changed that. I thought it would be really cute to use the dog statues that came with the new pack as kind of like bookends. So I sized them down and I put them on either side of the books on top of this media or like console table, I guess. Yeah, it made them super tiny and I thought that was so cute to have bookends since typically books can't really stay upright like that on their own. So yeah, another thing I'm loving with the size down sheet is basically to be able to size down all the pictures and make my own kind of frame collages and have them be different sizes. And yeah, I really, really enjoy that. It gives you a lot more freedom to make those types of things because before some were either too big or too much, too similar of a size. So yeah, I really like that. So up here on the third floor, it's the balcony for the honeymoon suite. So I put some nice loungers up here in a nice navy blue and white. I wish we had more navy and white items that came with the pack. I think they missed out on that opportunity. I absolutely love navy and white is very much like a coastal, hit the mic. It's very much a coastal and nautical aesthetic, really. But up here on, like, in the honeymoon suite, I wanted it to be a little bit nicer and more expensive looking than the bedrooms on the second floor. And they have their own fireplace, and I wanted it to be a little different as well as far as like the color schemes go. So I added a lot of like green into this room. Not a lot, but a few items that were like a sea green. Starting with the rug, which was kind of the inspiration for it, and adding in that amazing sailboat. I think the sailboat's a base game, but yeah. So I just wanted it to be a little more expensive looking, a little nicer amenities, really. I really liked this mossy green dresser. I thought that looked really nice with the rug as well. It is a little difficult to get around or like to see what you're doing up here on the third floor because of how the roof is, and the roof still kind of cuts into the rooms even with the added updates to the roofs. But what I typically do on the third floor is, if the roof is this way, I just kind of knock down the walls. And if you want to take pictures or whatever, you can see better what you're doing in tab mode if you wanted to do that. So that's kind of a way around it. But yeah, so right now I'm doing the master bath for the honeymoon suite. Definitely more fancy and elaborate than the other bathrooms. I mistakenly put a second bath in the shower that I used downstairs. I was like, oh wait, I already have a bathtub. So I just put 2 showers. It's supposed to be a double shower, but we don't have double showers in The Sims yet. I would absolutely love that though. I think Peacemaker did something like that, or he has a few double showers and they look so nice. So that's something on my wish list for sure. So the room adjacent to this one is supposed to be the owner's bedroom and bathroom. I imagine that they're 2 sisters, maybe granddaughters of the previous owner of the house, or it could just be, another guest room, but it's just single bed. So in case, you know, you're not a couple, or, you know, you're just there with your friends. So that's probably a good option. But yeah, so I'm just going to be adding some added details to the windows, just to make it look a little more interesting, and just adding a few landscaping details as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to see the others videos, and like I said, we'll be doing them all week until the 26th, and I'm so excited to see what everyone has done. It's going to be amazing, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.